Well, Ultima 6, one of my favorite games in the Ultima franchise. If you check out some other content on my channel, you see I've played a lot of Ultima games. It was my favorite RPG franchise back in the day. Still love playing those games, and of course it's pretty obvious that those games were incredibly influential. And I remember my uncle taking me to a department store back in the day, and I had some budget for a game, and then I saw the box, Ultima 6, and I just had to get it. And on the way back home, I was sitting in the back of the car, unwrapping the box, taking a look at all the stuff that's in there. If you've seen some of those boxes, they had all these manuals, law books, some extra paraphernalia in there, like a moonstone, and the map, the cloth map, which I held on for many years. Unfortunately, I lost it. And I remember playing that game like the whole spring of that year when I bought it. And on a C64 with a broken 1541 disk drive, and there was a mechanical part broken about it, and I had to hold it in place with my hand while it was loading, and it was loading a lot. And with my other hand, I was writing notes, you know, had my little notebook to take notes of important things to memorize. And it was, I think back to those days very fondly. It was a lot of fun. So I don't have an issue if I want to get my Ultima 6 fix, so to say, to just play the original, like this version, which is the GOG.com version, and even the C64 version you can play on emulator software for free. I sometimes fire that up. However, I also like to keep track of remakes, remasters by fans, and if you check out my channel there, for example, it's a video where I'm showing you Ultima V running on the Dungeon Siege engine, which is quite fun. It's very different from the original, but it's definitely worth trying out because it's more than just a different engine. They added some content, and there is this project to run Ultima 6 on the Ultima 7 engine. So let me show you how to do that, how to set that up, and then let's take a look at the gameplay. I only took a quick peek after I got it to work. I was quite happy to get it to function. Took a few minutes to figure it out, but so yeah, let's see in comparison what all of this looks like. And thanks for watching, and I hope you like this, and if you do, leave a like, leave a comment, maybe share some stories about your adventures in Ultima 6, and what you think about that project I'm going to show you. So let me take you step by step through how to get this to run, how to set this up. You will find the links to all the pages I'm referring to and shop pages on GOG in the description of this video. So first, you install Ultima 7 Blackgate, Forge of Virtue, and Serpent Isle. The version that's available on GOG runs perfectly well on a modern PC for me, and it works with this remake. I believe you only need Blackgate Forge of Virtue installed, because the actual install of the Ultima 6 remake happens in that installation. But, you know, why not grab and install both games and, you know, play them as well. They're awesome. So next step, you download Exult. The devs of the Ultima 6 remake recommend to download version 1.9. The current version, I believe, is 1.10. I just went to the Exult page, downloaded the latest version, and install it, and it works. So next, you download the Ultima 6 remake. It's a zip file, and you extract it into your game folder for Ultima 7. So for me, for example, it was in I have a dedicated folder for GOG games, and in there's a folder Ultima 7. Once you go into that, you'll see a folder called mods, and this is only available after you install Exult. So at first there was no mods folder. I installed Exult. Exult will ask you for the install paths of Blackgate, Forge of Virtue, and Serpent Isle. So you have to aim Exult, direct it to the correct installation folders, and then it will install those mods folders. So once again, you install the games, you download and install Exult. Then you'll have the mods folders installed by Exult, and you extract the zip file that you download from the Ultima 6 remake into the mods folder in your Ultima 7 installation folder. And finally, to get it all to run, you run Exult and click on Show Mods. That's what you see in the bottom right corner. And I will show you what that looks like, and then we're going to take a look at what the game looks like, you know, in this remake. So come right along. All right, so after we take all these steps, we fire up Exult. And as you can see, the format is pretty old school with the black bars on the sides. And to actually play the Ultima 6 remake, you click on Show Mods below the Forge of Virtue. And here we have Ultima 6 version 1.2. And don't be surprised, it at first will probably say Ultima 7, if I recall this correctly. Yes. And once we get past that screen, we have Ultima 6, The False Prophet. So let us start a new game. And this will already be pretty new to you, because as you saw in the intro of this video, you start with that video sequence. This whole thing with the fortune teller happens actually in like a cutscene where you make choices. Here, they implemented it into the engine. Pretty cool. So if you've played those games, you know what's going to happen. She is going to ask you some questions to hear your opinion on how you would decide to kind of build your character. These are based on the virtues that are an important part of the world of Ultima. So for example, let's just try and go through this quickly. During a pitch battle, they'll see a fellow desert his post, endangering many. As he flees, he is set upon by several enemies. I'm sure you're very familiar with those kind of questions. And I'm just going to take some random choices here for change. So you can see we've got some some text that is not entirely on the screen. I'm going to eat my kin. Let's see what we get out of this. We're going to slow the enemy. And finally, that's some interesting loading time right there. There we go. All right. So this is loading a little slow, but finally we got something to work. This is actually, they're reenacting the scene from the intro sequence, where the avatar is sitting in his living room, typical early 90s, late 80s living room, and outside there's a storm, and then you see that the moon gate opens. So it's pretty cool that they actually put this into the engine. I'm not controlling this is running by itself. And after that initial load, where it was lagging a little bit, seems to be working pretty well. Still have to click through that dialogue. And to me, I have to say, it's quite fascinating to see it reenacted kind of this way. Because, you know, I've seen that intro so often. And, you know, it was just a cutscene, kind of. And then suddenly you have this. It's pretty dark. Hope it still works out pretty well in the video. But it kind of fits the ominous atmosphere. So here we get trapped by the gargoyles. Supposed to be sacrificed. And the cavalry should come in soon, I hope. This is pretty dark. Apologize for that. I hope it's still watchable. I also increased the volume a little bit. And here we go. There's the cavalry. A bit hard to see in the dark. But we're getting saved, I guess. Chamino, Yolo, Dupre. We're all familiar with those names. And this is actually the ending of the video sequence in the original game. And we're getting transported to Lord British's throne room where the battle continues because some gargoyles followed us. And that is where Ultima VI originally kicks in, and that's what's happening here as well. Alrighty, so here we are. Ultima VI in the Ultima VII engine. All right. So I can actually have conversations here. And the combat has begun. So now we are slaying those remaining gargoyles. Right. So let us walk up to Lord British. And you switch combat modes by pressing C. So I just had to switch to the combat mode and then attack. Of course, we don't want to attack Lord British. And here he is. Richard Garriott's alter ego, at least one of them. The other one is Chamino from your party. So he explains the story to us. And then we can talk about the different topics here with those keywords. And we're pretty much off to explore the story of Ultima VI. However, before I go, I wanted to show you what else you can do since this is running on Exult. First of all, you have to keep in mind that the combat is a bit different. It is real-time combat now, like in Ultima VII. And, you know, before you would pick the combat moves in Ultima VI, you would pick the combat moves of your characters, so it was turn-based. This now is real-time, and as you know from Ultima VII, if you played that, you can just drag and drop items. For example, you know, let's pick that gold that gargoyle had, and a piece of armor looks pretty good. You can also take a look at your companions. Currently, I'm running this in full screen mode, and let me show you the options, because we have load save menu. So let's do a quick save, and also save it that way. So then we have the video options where you can switch the resolution. As soon as I switched to full screen mode, it adjusted the resolution to this value, and you can also change different settings about it. Full quality film mode. We have audio options to, for example, switch the special effect pack to Sound Blaster. It's a blaster from the past. We can also edit the game engine, meaning you can, for example, have Gums pause the game. You can adjust the speed if you notice that, you know, game's running at the wrong speed. You can actually change the combat difficulty, which I think should be especially interesting. So if you feel like this is overwhelming, you can switch it to easiest -3, -2, -1, normal, or you can even increase the difficulty, which is pretty nice. Now you can also enable cheats, and the cheats, I mean, you know, it depends on how you feel about them. There are cheats, for example, if something goes wrong, you can actually resurrect your characters. You could theoretically create objects. You can level up the party. You can add gold to your inventory. So if you, for example, would like to, you know, play Ultima VI this way with this engine, and you run into some problems, or you just want to play around a little bit, those cheats will give you the option to do so. If I do continue playing this, and I think I will stay away from them for now and just enjoy the game the way it is. So game display, we have different, for example, smooth scrolling. We can skip intros, we can skip the script first scene, and so there is quite a few things that you can try out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the Exult documentation into the video description so you can have a look at it. There's screenshots, there's explanations of the different functions. If you want to read further into this, I figured I probably shouldn't go into all the little details. So yeah, I hope this was interesting for you. It's pretty easy to install if you decide to install it. I hope it works for you as well, and I hope you'll enjoy this trip. I'm torn between just playing the original version again. I don't know for how many times that would be, or just explore this further, and I think that's what I'll actually do. So off I go. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, and if you very much liked it, leave a subscription because there will be more content like this. Thank you for joining me, and talk to you next time.